Welcome back to Sideline Story. I'm Yang Guang. Today we're talking about something almost miraculous in the NBA Heroes comeback. March the 7th, TD Garden, Jayson Tatum stepped onto an NBA court for the first time in 298 days. The last time we saw him, Madison Square Garden, his Achilles tendon snapped, and just like that, a season and maybe more flashed before our eyes. Here is what Tatum had to say on his return after a 10-month injury layoff.
I mean, it's a long process. It's a lot that goes into it, physically, emotionally, and mentally. You know, it's the physical aspect, passing all your strength tests and things like that. It's a ramp-up period of conditioning and doing contact stuff and, you know, heavy days, and then seeing how you feel the next day and respond, and, you know, weeks of that. It's just like it's a long journey, and you know, it's not just an easy decision to make. You know, it's a very serious thing that happened and that I had to overcome, and, you know, this was a huge step, but I still got a long way to go. But this was a really big step for me.
So, 298 days. For most players, that recovery timeline is 9 to 12 months at minimum. Kevin Durant, 552 days. Kobe Bryant, 240 days, but the player who came back wasn't the same. And here's the sobering stats. Medical science says only about 40% of players who rupture their Achilles ever return to their previous level. Klay Thompson came back a different player. You could see it, legs uneven, rhythm off. Even now, there are moments where it shows. So, where does Tatum fit? To me, he belongs to that 40%. Watching his return game against the Dallas, it was like he had never left. Step back threes, dribbles into the paint, fade-away jumpers, and here's the thing that really caught my eye. His calf muscle barely atrophied. That's not normal. That's medical science on another level. A decade ago, this injury was almost a career death sentence. But now that he's back, the real question isn't just how did he do it? It's what does his return actually mean for a Celtics team that was already rolling without him? How much can he lift them? And should we expect him to be the old Tatum right away? Tatum also had doubts returning to the court after his first game back against the Dallas Mavericks. Here's what he said.
It was a range of emotions, a range of thoughts in that moment. You know, I wasn't sure if what the future was going to hold, because the start of last playoffs, you know, we felt like we had a 3, 4, 5-year run with that team of try to win as many championships as we could, and it all changed in the moment with that team, right? You know, we had to trade guys and things like that, so there was a lot of uncertainty for me. I didn't know what was next, and, you know, there was a lot of doubt that crept in my mind at that time. Obviously, the team looks totally different than it did last year, but, you know, can't commend the group enough and the coaching staff of how they've attacked this season, how they've competed and just played together every single night. You know, I don't know if it's a team that's been more fun to watch this season, just, you know, play as a unit.
There were whispers, rumors that Tatum could have returned as early as November or December, barely 6 months post-injury. But the team held him back. They were patient. In February, reports surfaced that he quietly joined a G League affiliate, testing his body without the glare of the spotlight. But the speed of recovery is one thing. The confidence, that's something else. And I think the answer to where the confidence came from is in his first 2 games back. Against the Dallas, 27 minutes, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Against the Cleveland, same minutes, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. 6 for 16 from the field in both games. Now let's be honest, this was Tatum operating at maybe 60-70% of his peak. The explosion wasn't all the way back, That shiftiness and those sudden bursts, they were muted. But here's what stood out to me. No hesitation. Even in those 6 straight misses against the Mavs, Tatum was decisive. Every move had intent. There was this one moment, first quarter in Cleveland, about 6 minutes left. Tatum picks up his dribble beyond the arc, lowers his shoulder, and rips right through 2 defenders, including Evan Mobley. Finishes with a soft finger roll and rim. No second guessing, no fear. He knew exactly what he wanted to do the second he crossed the half court. That kind of mentality, you just can't teach it. But, and I have to say this, those are just 2 games, 2 samples. And if you followed the NBA long enough, you know the pattern. A star returns from a long injury, drops a statement game, and everyone starts planning the parade. But the real story usually unfolds in the weeks after. Klay Thompson's first game back after missing 2 seasons? Electrifying. But what followed was a long, messy return to form. For Tatum, he's 27, still in his prime. I believe he can get back to his old self, but it's a process, a long one. There will be ups and downs for sure. So if he has an ugly night, say next week, don't hit the panic button. His return isn't a single game, it's a season-long arc. So why did Boston give him the green light to return this season? Part of it is where the team stands, I think. The Celtics are in a surprising spot. After losing in the playoffs last year and then losing Tatum to injury, the front office seemed to hit reset. They let go of Jrue Holiday. Kristaps Porzingis moved on. On paper, this looked like a bridge year, a gap year, a season to absorb some losses and wait for their star to heal. But basketball sometimes doesn't always follow the script. Right now, the Celtics are second in the East. Great record, elite net rating. They've been better than anyone expected. The only real concern might be their head-to-head record against, those top-tier teams. In those high-leverage matchups, Boston has struggled this season. But that's where Tatum comes in. I mean, Jaylen Brown is having a phenomenal season, arguably the best of his career. But this team has always been a double-engine operation. Derek White is averaging 17 points a game, and he's essential. But he's not the second engine. That's Tatum. With him back, Boston regains its 1A, 1B punch. White slides back into his natural role as the connector. Everyone breathes easier. But here's the tricky part. Can Tatum adapt immediately to this version of the Celtics? Because this year's team is not the old squad. Gone are the 5-out lineups with shooters at every position. Now you've got guys like Neemias Quinton at center, a rim-running, shot-blocking big who can't shoot. That changes everything. The old Celtics offense was simple: spread the floor, hunt mismatches, drive and kick. That's efficient, violent, and easy because everyone can shoot. The new offense requires more nuance, more movement, more screening actions, more handoffs. It's a one big, 4-out system that demands the primary ball handler be a gravitational force. So can Tatum make an instant impact? Well, yes and no. Yes, because Tatum is elite at launching pull-up threes off screens. That's just his superpower. In his first 2 games back, he was already running pick and roll with Quinton. That alone bends defense in ways no one else on this roster can. But no, because Tatum isn't a natural point guard. He's never been the primary organizer. Yes, he averaged a career-high 6 assists last season, but that doesn't mean he can instantly step into the role Derek White has been playing for a couple of years. Tatum is still that sharp knife, a forward who can slice through a defense with scoring pressure. He can share the ball, but dominating it like Luka, sorry, that's not just his game. His additional value right now might be off the ball. This Celtics offense runs more movement than previous iterations. More pin downs, more stagger screens, more weak side action. And Tatum, he's devastating off the ball too. His shooting, even on a rusty night, forces defenses to stretch. His rim pressure, even at 70%, forces help. And the numbers back this up. Before Tatum returned, Boston was dead last in the league in rim attempts. You can't win a title without attacking the paint. Tatum's presence alone starts to fix that imbalance. And defensively, he's a stabilizer. Great rebounding, positional versatility, instincts that can't be replicated. Now with Tatum back, this team's ceiling is higher, no question. But can they top the East in the playoffs? Probably, but it's not guaranteed. Before his return, the conversation was Cavaliers versus Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe. Now you have to include the Celtics. With a healthy Tatum, they are one of the top contenders in the league. Maybe winning it all is still too soon for a player just back from an Achilles tear, but at least now, the Celtics can start building toward that goal. Finally, congratulations to Jayson Tatum and to the Celtics. They just walked out of a long, dark tunnel, and the light feels real again. Alright, with that, we end this episode of Sideline Story. Thank you so much for joining us. Subscribe to Sideline Story and leave your comments wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information, you can also check our website at radio.cgtn.com. Until next time, stay on the sidelines with us.